Hi, welcome to Homeschool 101. If we haven't met before, my name is Megan, and I am a former public school teacher turned homeschool mom. And if you are watching this video, I am guessing that you are planning to homeschool in the fall or are strongly considering it. And either way, we are so happy that you're here, and we hope that this series will be helpful for you. This is something that just kind of was on my heart a few days ago to share some of the experiences and maybe some tips and tricks and some planning information with people that are just looking to homeschool. Because every mom that has homeschooled their kids has started somewhere. And most of us have been overwhelmed or confused or whatever you're feeling right now, most of us have felt that feeling. And it just adds extra uncertainty with all the things that are going on right now. So I just really want to share some things with you guys, and I hope that it's helpful for you. We are going to have a different video posted every day. We'll have two today. The introductory one will be up, and then we will post our first session about choosing the reason that you're homeschooling and talking a little bit about deschooling. That one will get posted later on today. Then we'll have a video every day for the rest of the week. I'm really hoping to keep them under 20 minutes. I know that your time is valuable. If you have kids at home right now and you're working on getting ready to homeschool, or if you're working, all of those things, it's important to keep these short. So I will promise I will try to respect your time and keep these hopefully in the 20-minute range. I'm also considering doing some live Q&A if people think that would be helpful either on Facebook or on YouTube a couple of times this week. So if you think that would be helpful, if you would leave a comment down below, we might see if we can get that arranged at some point or a couple of times this week if we can. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is my background in education and how we got started homeschooling. And then I want to share with you a couple of legal things surrounding homeschooling that I want you to do your homework on. So I taught in public school for 10 years. I taught high school all 10 of those years, and then I taught 7th and 8th grade for I think 3 of those years. And my degree is in family and consumer science education. So you might have known that as home ec when you were in school, but I taught child development, I taught culinary arts, fashion and textiles, housing and interiors, independent living, personal finance. I taught 10 different classes over the course of that time that I was teaching. And I loved being in the classroom. I like curriculum, I like writing curriculum, I like reading about curriculum. It's just something that is part of my personality. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher, so I really enjoyed the time that I spent in the classroom. But when my oldest was starting kindergarten, that happened to coincide with the birth of our third daughter. My kids currently, at the time of taping, are 10, 8, 5, almost 6, and just turned 3. So my oldest was getting ready to start kindergarten when my third daughter was born. So I ended up finishing out that school year and then stayed home to start homeschooling with my oldest. And originally, I think we thought we might homeschool for a couple of years and then transition to public or private school. But the more we've gotten into this, the more I feel like this is probably something we're in for the long haul. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the future holds, but at this point, we will continue to homeschool. So that was kind of how we ended up transitioning. So I have a background in education. I like reading scope and sequence. I don't like writing scope and sequence, but I like learning about curriculum. But I don't have a ton of experience in elementary education. And that's probably where you are too. But the thing that I will tell you, and I will encourage you over the course of this week, is that you know your child best. You know the way that they like to learn, their style, their time of day they like to learn, things that are motivating for them, things that are challenging for them. So even if you are sitting watching this right now thinking, I don't have a degree in education, I don't have background in that, it doesn't matter. We will give you the resources. They are out there to be able to homeschool your child if that's what you want to do. So that's where we started. We are starting our 6th year of homeschooling right now. My oldest will be a 5th grader. And we've had kind of the whole range, even in those 6 years of experiences. My oldest is very by the book. He's very analytical, black and white. He's easy to teach. You just tell him something and he does it. He's not always super motivated, but he does well in school. And then my daughter, who is just starting kindergarten, will have some struggles as she goes through the process. She has some just some learning challenges and some growth challenges that we've worked through since she was very young. So having her at home gives me the opportunity to work at her level and work at her speed. We might school for 15 minutes in a day at the kindergarten level, and if that's what she can handle, then that's what she can handle. So I have those two are my first and third, and then my second daughter is 8, and she will be a third grader this year, and then our little guy is 3, and so he is a preschooler on days that he wants to be a preschooler, and on days that he doesn't want to be a preschooler, he doesn't have to be. And he can be content to cut up paper or blow bubbles or do all of the things that typical 3-year-olds do. So that's kind of our situation right now. We recently moved, so we are out in the country, so we have other things that need to happen kind of during our day and things that our kids are able to help with. So that's kind of just a little bit about our setup and our family. My husband works outside the home, and so we help him with different things, and we do some stuff with our farm, and so we just are busy like most all of you are. So that's kind of my background and who I am. When we first started homeschooling, I started sharing some curriculum reviews on YouTube because there wasn't a lot that was out there about the curriculum that I was using. So I started sharing some of those things, and that kind of morphed into some of my planning background. And I think with having a teacher background, teacher mindset, planning kind of comes naturally or easy to me. And I know sometimes that's a huge concern for new homeschooling parents is how do you schedule and manage and organize, your lessons or your curriculum or your house or whatever it is. And that's sometimes a concern. And so I enjoy being able to share some of those tips and tricks. They don't work for everybody. I don't always follow them either. So what I want you to think about is, where are you on the spectrum, and wherever of homeschooling, and wherever you're at, that's okay. And let's figure out a place to meet you where you're at. When I first started homeschooling, I was in every 15 minutes, this is what we're doing. We had our schoolroom set up, and we had a whiteboard, and we had posters on the wall and all of that kind of stuff. But what I learned over the course of the last 6 years is that's not really my natural style with my kids. That worked for me in a classroom setting. When I did the math, I have been in school for 26 years. From the day that I started kindergarten to the day that I walked out of my classroom, I lived for 26 years on a school schedule. My whole life was bell to bell, 9 months of school, 3 months of summer. That was just what I did. So that was very ingrained in me. And I learned that's not really kind of how we naturally do school. With 4 kids, and as we added kids once we started homeschooling, that just isn't really how we lived life. So if you're every 15 minutes you like a super structured day, that's great. And we can give you some resources to help plan your day, help organize, track your time, whatever it is you're kind of looking for. And if you're at the other end of the spectrum and having a schedule like that freaks you out, that's totally fine too. Or if you're somebody that is living in a really small space and you don't have a schoolroom, that's fine. We had a schoolroom in our old house, and I think we used it for a year, maybe 2 years, but not very long. And then we moved upstairs because we do school where we do life, and that just works better for our family. When we built the house that we're in now, I didn't even plan a schoolroom because I knew we wouldn't use it. We school at our dining room table, and we have one cupboard where we keep our daily materials, and we'll show you that in another video later on in the week. The last thing that I want to talk about for today, and then we will be done until session 2 gets released here in a little bit, is kind of the legal side of homeschooling. I know you want to go to Pinterest first, or to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and look at all of the different things that you can buy, get, make, whatever it is. But the first thing that you need to do is figure out what are the legal requirements in your state. So I would find the homeschool group in your state, join their email list or their Facebook page, whatever's the best way to get in contact with them. We live in Iowa, and so you can go to homeschooliowa.org. I think I'll put their link down below if you're an Iowa person. And they have tons of great resources. They spell out what your options are. Find that group in your state and figure out what you need to do legally. In Iowa, we have several different options depending on how much involvement you want from the school district. There's kind of a stair step. And so you just need to find out what that is for you. Some people are able to register under an umbrella school. If you've seen that term around, the umbrella school might provide funding. They might provide some of your resources. They might literally just be the way that you register with your state. Some places also require a supervising teacher. A supervising teacher is a licensed teacher that you meet with on, whatever regularity your state sets up. They might look at some of your materials, look at portfolio or work that your kids have done. Figure out what you need to do for where you live. That's the biggest thing before you start looking at curriculum and Pinterest posters and all that kind of stuff. Get the legal side of it figured out so that you know that you're set for the year. So figure out what that is for your state. The other thing is you might want to look into the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, HSLDA, if you've seen that anywhere that you've been looking recently. They have a team of lawyers and they lobby nationally on behalf of homeschoolers. So you can pay to be a member of their organization and they provide some coverage and some benefits and things like that. But they also can help point you in the right direction for what you need for your state. So I know that's not the super exciting part of homeschooling, but it is an important thing to kind of have your ducks in a row and know where you're headed. So that's my main takeaway for today for this first session. Here in a little bit when session 2 gets released, we're going to be talking about your reason for homeschooling, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about deschooling. If you've had kids that have been in public school and you're pulling them out, even if it's just for a year, you're going to have a transition period that you're going to go through. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about where we're headed this week. You will learn pretty quickly that I love homeschooling. I have a huge passion for homeschooling and what it can do for families. I think I've learned more in the 6 years that I've been homeschooling probably than my kids have. It will change you as a mom or a dad or whoever's doing the schooling in your house, and it's such a great experience. But we don't do anything fancy. We don't edit. I don't have a budget to do this. Like, this is just me wanting to share information with you. If we met in the grocery store or at coffee, if you have questions, those are the things that I want to try and answer in as honest and real of a way as I possibly can. So I hope that you will stick around with us as we walk through this series. All the videos will be posted on YouTube, so if you follow and get notifications to see, I think we'll probably release around 6 a.m. every day for the videos, and then we'll see if we can do a live Q&A a couple times if people are interested in that. You can also follow along on Facebook or Instagram, wherever is easiest for you, or on my blog if you want to get notifications there too. We'll link to all the videos. There will be a whole page and you can go and watch and go back through the whole series. Whatever is easiest for you, I want to try and get good, practical information in your hand as quickly as possible with as few bunny trails as I can. That's my goal, and we'll see. As a former teacher, that's really hard for me, but I'll do my best. So stick around. Let me know what questions you have. If there's things you're hoping to see that aren't on the schedule, I am really not married to this schedule, or we can add additional sessions if we need to. And we will see where we go from here, and we will see you in the next session. Thanks for watching.